Hi, my name is Jan Benham, founder of the Institute of Aromatherapy and Aroma Shop. I'm here today to introduce you to the making of lipsticks. Now, how I got into making lipsticks was through where I started doing aromatherapy and teaching aromatherapy, and I started making my own creams and lotions back in the 80s. Then it was a natural progression to go on and learn how to make soaps, and started making my own cold press soap and so on. It developed organically into the making. I was intrigued in the idea of making my own makeup. So I looked first of all into making lipsticks, and it was hard to find. I was already making my own lip balms, so I figured if I used my lip balm basic recipes and made them a little bit less runny or less oily and more waxy, and then added a pigment, then I could make my own lipstick. So I started playing with the idea of mixing things like beetroot, which didn't work of course, carrot root oil, which is an orangey glow, which leaves a nice gloss, but it's not a lipstick. And I even tried some micas, the beautiful bright red micas, but they look beautiful. They look beautiful in the lipstick, but they don't leave a color transfer on the lips. So what is the background to cosmetics in the first place? A little bit of trivia to start with. So for example, the cosmetics have been in use for thousands of years. For example, when King Tut's tomb was opened in 1922, lipsticks were found inside that were still fragrant and perfectly usable. In the time, of course, Queen Elizabeth I, you had ladies putting on white makeup to make the skin white, and of course that was lead, and so there was a heavy use of makeup then. And then it started to fall into disfavor because Christianity was saying, it's the work of the devil putting makeup on. A good woman should not wear makeup. So in fact, in 1770, the English Parliament passed a law stating that any woman who seduced a man into marriage by wearing makeup could be tried as a witch. So it slowly has made a comeback, makeup, and the big resurgence was back in the 20s, in the 1920s, when women started wearing red lipstick. Coco Chanel brought out red lipstick and the wearing of heavier makeup. Then you have the films in the 50s, and of course World War II, women wore more makeup, and that is fact that when the times of austerity happen, women will buy more lipsticks. A little bit of trivia here. In 1904, a perfumed lip salve would have cost you 25 cents, which is about 10p English money. And the average woman wears 4 to 9 pounds of lipstick in a lifetime. A lot of lipstick there. So a lot more little bits and bobs of trivia in my information booklet. So, making lip cosmetics. So we need first of all a base, an oil wax base that will act as a sticky substance that will go on your lips and stay on your lips, and basically be able to take the pigment and do a lipstick. So we're doing a sticking on of the colour, so lipstick. So what do we want in this? Now obviously there are so many different waxes. There's artificial waxes, there's natural waxes, there's hundreds of different oils you can use, so the choice is endless. I started out by using jojoba, and jojoba is a beautiful oil to use, and I still use it on occasion because it is an awesome oil to use on the lips, especially anybody who has psoriasis or eczema or dry skin. And it has an incredible impact on the skin. So it's not actually an oil, technically it's a liquid wax. It also has a long shelf life, so if you want to make a lipstick that's going to last at least 2 years, you need to use ingredients that are going to last as well. Other oils, while we're into the oil phase, the main oil I use all the time is castor oil. Castor oil leaves a beautiful, a nice sheen in the lips. It's thick, and it also disperses the pigments nicely throughout the product. Now, castor oil also has so many health benefits, incredible for the skin. You know, we use castor oil. I use castor oil for myself if I feel like I need to have a little liver cleanse or gallbladder cleanse, and I place a castor oil pack on my tummy. It works. If I need to clean out my inside, I sometimes take a teaspoon of castor oil. If I feel, I had once a brown spot that I didn't like for about 10 years, and last year I decided, you know what, I had a light bulb moment. If I put a bit of castor oil on that brown spot, it was kind of crusty big brown spot on my body, actually on my breast area, I wonder what would happen. And sure enough, I started applying it at least twice a day, the castor oil. I would put it on, it's very sticky, so I would put a little bit of lotion on top to take the stickiness away. And within 3 months, it had gone. You could see it fade, like disappearing. And slowly the whole thing just came off. And I was absolutely shocked and amazed. So now what I'm doing, if I see any sign of any brown spot on my face, although I've not got any, and I think this is probably why, I put castor oil on my face and castor oil on my neck, and then I put a bit of lotion on so I'm not going to bed sticky and ruining all my sheets and what have you. So castor oil is an amazing oil, and it's no surprise that when I first heard of castor oil being used in lipsticks, well, it's well known, but when I started looking into it, when I came to Holland, it was called wonder oil, and it is a wonder oil. So castor oil is still my main oil that I use in my lipstick. Other oil recently that I've started adding is something that's called Naturederm IL. And what this is, it's actually a kind of part of a fractionated coconut oil mixed with sugars from beets, and it's very light oil, very interesting oil. I use it in some of my skincare products, but it also helps disperse the pigment throughout the skin and throughout the product, and also it leaves a very soft, velvety, non-oily feel on the skin. So I've started to include it in my personal lipstick that I make for myself. So those are just a few oils that you can use, and of course I add, for me, I add shea butter. Now shea butter is a natural butter that is from a fruit of a tree in Africa. In fact, I went to Ghana in the 90s to look to see if I could purchase the shea butter directly from the person who made it. I learned how to make coconut oil there too, which was quite a nice experience in the natural way. And but you couldn't. The big guys, the big companies have come in and they buy up all the harvest every year, and you still, even if you're in Africa, you have to buy through them, or you have to buy it on the market. And then you really have to refine your own shea butter, because usually what you find on the market is dirty and it needs cleaning basically and refining, and otherwise it's not going to be of any use in a lipstick. It's going to go bad really fast. So you want to get it naturally refined, not synthetically with chemicals, which some people use. So it does cost a little bit more when you buy shea butter that's naturally refined. The waxes now used, this is the backbone of this. One of my favorite waxes, I only use natural waxes in my lipsticks, and I use Candelilla wax. And Candela is a natural plant wax extracted from the leaves of the Candelilla plant in Mexico, grows in Mexico, and it gives a really nice gloss to the lipstick, and it's also quite a hard wax too. Another wax that I use but I don't use in lipstick is Carnauba wax, and that's the hardest natural wax you can get. I don't particularly need it in my lipsticks. It's a more dullish look to it. And again, it's a natural, it's from the Canalba palm tree and from the leaves of the Canalba palm tree. And it's very hard wax, and I use that tend to be more in my pencils. It's also very brittle wax too. Now, if you're not bothered whether you want to be vegan or non-vegan, beeswax, I add beeswax, but if you're strictly vegan, then you might want to just use more candelilla wax and leave out the beeswax. So candelilla wax and leave out the beeswax. Beeswax does add a nice consistency to the lipstick though. And last is a stearic acid, and it's a natural acid, naturally occurring in vegetable oils, as well as I also get it from animal fats too. I get mine from a vegetable source, and it's a really good emulsifying and thickening property that it gives. It also stops the lipstick from breaking, so it's very of value in lipstick making, and also in I use it in my lip and eye pencils as well. If you wanted to go away from the lipstick smell, of course that's castor oil, the smell always usually of lipsticks, then you could always add essential oils, but you've got to be careful which ones. You don't want to be burning your lips with cinnamon, but you could add things like sweet orange oil, essential oil, which is very safe and very natural and okay if you eat it basically. So there are a few essentials that are safe to use in lipsticks. And now we're going to look at pigments. So I have worked with many different pigments, and micas alone with a colour will not work. They're used more as a secondary, so you have your main colour, which is the part that's sticky, and then you have your secondary colour, your micas you can add to add a dimension to your lipstick colour, and then they do add something to it. Now, as I said, I've tried a lot of different natural colours. I have tried the FC and D dyes, but they are from petroleum byproducts, so I prefer not to use them. So I've been using Carmine, which is a natural pigment, red pigment, and it is PETA approved, so it's not against cruelty to animals, but it's not vegan. It's not a vegan option, obviously. So I do use Carmine for myself, and it works beautiful because it's a pure red. So it means when you mix it with, say, a little bit of yellow oxide, you can get more of a corally colour, or you mix it with white. Titanium dioxide makes it is white. It's a whitener, and you make a pink. And you can make any other colour you really want out of that, adding a little bit of black. You can make a deep mauvey kind, and you can even make a purplish colours too. And I've created a lot of different colours using Carmine as the base. With oxides, red oxide is not a true red. It is a brickish red. So you have to look at your skin tone. Are you a cool skin tone or a warm skin tone? So for example, I'm a cool skin tone, 60% of the population are, and they suit pinks, reds, blues. The warm skinned colours, they suit yellow, orange, you see, and browns on their skin. So that's a much easier natural colour to get with natural colours. So I'm excited today because I am going to be making a new product that is, it's basically from the red radish, and it's from the roots. And it's been specially formulated. It is 100% natural. It's EcoCert approved, and also it seems like it's allergy free as well. And this is I've already pre-mixed this with a little bit of imperial citrine mica, and also which is yellow. It's much more of a yellow. It's got a lot of yellow oxide in it. And also a little bit of titanium dioxide to lighten it. So I tried to make it that would suit myself. So I do make a whole load of different impact colours, which are all made specifically with lipsticks in mind because they're very sticky. So as soon as if you need to make something sticky, you need to add things like zinc in it. Zinc oxide is sticky substance. It's also very good for the skin. It's antifungal, and so useful, very good for healing the skin. titanium dioxide is also really helpful. They also act as both of them act as natural sunblocks. So again, you can make your lipstick basically sunproof. And they're both very sticky items to add, so that works. Carmine is very sticky as well, and oxides are, but micas are not. So I'm going to try out my work with my mold now. Now this mold was one of my original molds that I got in the 90s, and I still use it. It's I keep it oiled, so I actually now oil it with Naturederm IL. I find it's a really good cleaner. I never have washed it in soap and water. You oil it all the time and you keep it in oil. And it's easy to clean, and I have a few of these. I did try the 90 cavity one, but frankly, with taking it apart and everything, you might as well just get 3 or 4 12 cavity molds. This is your most expensive item you will get for lipstick making, but if you look after it, it should last you your whole life. So lipstick mold, if you want to make a professional looking lipstick with lipsticks as well, then you need a mold. But if you don't have a mold, you can still put your lipsticks into lip balm tubes or into little pots, and then use a lip brush to put the lipstick on your lips. Now when I make my lipsticks, I always make my base in bulk, and I also make my pigments usually in bulk as well. So this is a base that I have made, which contains castor oil, Naturederm IL, Shea Butter, beeswax, candelilla wax, and stearic acid. And the whole amount in here is 9 grams, and I'm going to melt that down in a double boiler, and then I'm going to mix 1 to 2 teaspoons into the mixture here, and then I'm going to pour directly into the holes. Probably will just make 2 to 3 lipsticks maximum. So that's 9 grams of a base, and there are many different bases that I sell, for example. So some people like a vegetarian version, a vegan version rather, or they prefer something that is with a jojoba, for example, or the original lipstick base that I used to make, which I call a lipstick that thinks it's a lip balm, because it was based on a lip balm recipe. So it's much more nourishing to the lips than, say, a lipstick. So now I'm just going to go and put this in the double boiler, melt it down, and come back and show you how it's mixed. I'm back, and as you can see, the oil and wax mix has melted, and I'm just going to put this to the side, and I'm going to mix up my pigment into the base. I'm just going to try 1 teaspoon, actually 1.5 teaspoons here. See, now I've already got pigment already. It's quite a messy business here. Now you'll notice when you add your pigment that it comes out a lot darker than when it's just as a loose powder. So this is why it's nice to try out to get your correct color, to try things out first before you mix them. So this is quite a nice dark red. It's a mixture of this new red that I've got, a completely natural made from red radish, and it's mixed with a imperial citrine and a little bit of titanium dioxide just to lighten it a little bit. And I probably would have lightened it a little bit more for myself, but I'm just trying it out first anyway. And pour it directly in without stopping. And I think I'm going to get 3. Exactly, voila. So now I have 3 lipsticks in the mold, ready to cool down before we remove them. So now I'm going to put this in the fridge, and I'll come back to you and we'll demold. So now I brought the mold out of the fridge. So it should be cooked ready by now, and I'm just going to take off the excess top. When you have excess, you just put it back in the pot, and if you have any mistakes with your lipstick, you can also just put it back in the pot, remelt, and you can then remold basically. So I've taken that off. Now I have something called a case fitter. I didn't always work with a case fitter, but it is much easier to work with a case fitter, believe you me. I didn't think it was necessary. Just put it straight down on top, but it makes it life so much easier. So what I'm going to just do now is I'm going to place, so this is a lipstick, and I'm just going to put the lipstick straight in, don't twist, because we've got a little, it's a teardrop at the end. So put it in, and you come out, and there is your beautiful red lipstick. So if I wanted it more of a pink shade, I would have added more titanium dioxide. So the next lipstick I'm going to make, because this is really not too dark for me, is I have a lady close by who loves red lipsticks. So I'm going to give her one and see what she thinks to it, and have a look at it, and it's a success, I think. So I'm going to next try a pink lipstick. So I'm going to mix up a little bit more titanium with my mix. I'm going to actually use the same mix and add about half a teaspoon of titanium, and I'm going to see if I can get a nice pink colour. And if I can, I will put it onto the same podcast if I have time today. So 3 successful red lipsticks, completely natural, 100%, and very safe to use. So I will see if we can do a pink one and add it onto the end. If not, I hope that you found this information useful. As I said, for cleaning this mold, I just use Q-tips and wipe over, dip it in some oil. Preferably jojoba works well, fractionated coconut oil also works, and I use my Naturederm IL, but it doesn't really matter as long as it's something that doesn't go rancid. And then I make sure it's well oiled, and then I store it in a bag, in a plastic bag. So happy lipstick making. So I was able to make some extra time, and what I have done is taken the rest of the pigment that I made last, and I've added quite a bit of titanium dioxide to it to make like a coral pink. I already had a bit of yellow in because I wanted to make it a little bit more corally, and I've melted another 9 grams of the base. So again, I'm going to add a teaspoon and a half, like 2 teaspoons, but of this to that, and just remove the excess. Doesn't really matter too much because it's not going to contaminate. And I'm here mixing this up, and it looks like a very pretty colour. I'm very pleased with this new format. So I put the others in that one, so I'm going to start with this. And I should get 3. Oops, no, I didn't get 3. I don't like doing that at all, because what happens is you have to open up the whole mold to demold it and take it out. But again, I'm going to put this in the fridge and see how it looks. So now I have my coral pink lipstick in the mold here, and I'm going to again take off the excess lipstick from the top. Remove, demold. If it sticks in like this, you can just gently praise it away. And then I'm going to use my case fitter. Go straight down and straight up. That's quite a pretty colour. Quite pleased with that one. And so we have 2 out of that. And here's the second one. And the other one I can just take it out of the mold later and reset it. So this one is really a pretty. So we just did today 2 lipsticks. One pink coralish, and one is a deep red. So quite pretty. See how they look, how they go on to the skin. And yes, it leaves a beautiful shade. Absolutely stunning. So this is definitely one for me. Normally I use a brush to put my lipstick on. And I don't have a mirror in front of me. So that's how it looks. So I just have to find a name for it now. So have a great day wherever you may be, and bye for now.